Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark, and Lost Colony is just about to release, and they kind of gave us a little bit of teaser over on the Steam store. Now, the update that this thing has is absolutely insane. This is the biggest update that they have ever released, and it's not particularly close. I'm going to walk you through it. I'm not going to watch a trailer. The trailer is really cool if you haven't seen it yet, but I would definitely, if you want to watch it, check it out. But let me just go over some of these pictures because they're pretty important. This is the city. There are some actual things that matter in the trailer, and I'll kind of walk you through that in just a second here. They are going to have a cinematic mode as you kind of complete the story. So this is really their first inclusion into Ark 2. They are bringing back the Desmodus. That's kind of these guys, or thralls, or whatever you want to call them. But they are super cool. I mean, Desmodus are pretty neat if you've never used them before. Now, anyways, you can see that this is about to go really hard. So basically, this is a full description of everything, but they go further in depth in this description in order to kind of tell you all this other stuff, and I'll talk about that in just a second here. But basically, there's some major changes incoming, and it walks through all the changes. There's a lot of notes here, so I'm going to kind of try and cover some of the really important things and kind of walk you through some of it, because some of it's wild, and I'm stoked. Now, it will not release until late tomorrow night, but this is honestly the biggest update they've ever had. It's not even really close, and some people are like, oh, you're gonna be like, well, what about just listen for a second here. It's crazy. All right, so the saga, right? Now you can see that there are animated sequences that you're going to run into by Mappa, which is a fantastic anime making studio. They do a great job. You can see right here that there's some of the stuff that I'm not going to go into it because I don't know what they look like quite yet. You can see that this right here, immerse yourself in emotional high fidelity CGI story, basically Unreal 5 metahuman technology, and it's literally you're part of like this story, which I think they're moving more towards that Ark 2 with that statement right there. Now this is where it gets really cool. The neural intrusion, kind of like, you know, the notes that you get. You aren't alone in your head as the infection spreads. You get the Lost King. And then you also have Edmund Rockwell kind of going through your thoughts and taunting your failures and commencing your actions. So it's kind of like, I don't know, a little fun little system they added there. Engram Codex, fully unlocked voice character conversations by completing the actual milestones. So they're going to add something, in my opinion, to actual different things that you can do inside of it. So that's going to be really neat to see. And then you can see the dark history of Eric Prime through the fully voiced explorer notes and dossiers. So that's totally different from the other types of the story. So you're going to unlock different types of interactables. So for PvE people or people that just want to play the story, this is a really cool update. And I haven't even gotten into the cool stuff yet. All right, so let's get into it. The map itself, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 major zones. Now, this is going to be the big one, in my opinion, the Lost King Dominion. You can infiltrate this Gothic metropolis, and now in this it says there's a ton of basically in-depth stuff, which is really cool. It's heavily guarded by a thrall army, which you can actually not tame, but you can kind of claim to be your workers. Now that's going to be something crazy that that's a thing. Yeah, but you can see that they're docile and obedient, but will aggressively thank you, whatever that is, thank you very much, go away. But basically that's kind of what they are, drawing relentless attention to elite patrols. Now the next thing, the tundra. Navigate the map's perimeter. The perimeter is essentially this giant tundra, and it's a desolate Arctic expanse scarred with craters and debris, which is kind of cool. So like the entire map seems to be surrounded by this tundra. The Twilight Forest, this is really cool. Fantasy Boreal nightmare, where the bioluminescent flora reacts dynamically in the auroras overhead. You can see there's some basically changing area. This seems to be like the safer zone, in my opinion, the forest and the mountains. The dark forest, a twisted, foreboding woodland that serves as the gateway to the map's more dangerous zones. So there's going to be like almost like a spherical system where it's like you have areas that you know are more dangerous, kind of like Aberration is, where you've got like different, like the blue zone, green zone, and red zone. It seems like they're kind of moving toward an aberrant kind of description. So that's really cool. Now, the next, Caldera, right? It's basically a giant volcanic crater, and then you can see the city power core, which is basically your access to red element, and the Gothic metropolis with radiant heat. So the cool thing is you're going to have essentially a bunch of interactable NPCs, which is going to be crazy. Because it's like they're not just going to always hunt you. They're interactable in some way, shape, or form. You can earn their trust. So that's going to be crazy. Now, scattered around the map, you can see geothermal activity provide ample water and resources. They are often a vital warm respite for players from the wind chill. So there's going to be some sort of this effect, in my opinion, kind of like you got in the Scorched Earth zone, where the Scorched Earth essentially caused players to like basically hunker down when you had like a snowstorm or a sandstorm, not snowstorm, but a sandstorm or electrical storm. You're gonna have some stuff like that. Now, this is what I think is crazy. Venture into the hazardous, toxic sludge environments where debris. Why do I keep getting notifications right now? Sludge environments where debris from the crashed aberrant Ark has corrupted the landscape, twisting flora and fauna through radioactive nightmares and avoiding the bubbling pools of corrupted Edmundium. Pretty cool. So I think this is gonna be a super, super cool zone. That's my opinion. Now, that's the cool part, right? We get even cooler here. We are gonna have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 new creatures added in one map. That's bonkers. Now, obviously, the Veilwind, Soulwind, and Malwind are all the same family. You can see the Veilwind we've had before. So the Soulwind, which is a morph of the Veilwind, and the Maelwind, which is a kind of different version of the Soulwind. This one's from Corruption, and then Volpite consumes Volpite basically, and then Malice, and you can kind of see it. It's basically exclusively to eliminate threats. So this one seems like it's more of a buffing creature, the Soulwind, whereas the Malwind is more of like a damaging basic thing. So you can do this like teleabsorptive abilities to slowly regenerate sluggishness and weaken its prey. Basically, the Malwind does not climb or form ice bridges, instead slides across frozen wastelands, vanishing and striking from afar with potent teleportations. The Malwind seems like it's like a hit and run, kind of low health, high damage, and the Soulwind is more of like your tankier, useful in. So this is damage, and this is your support team, which is really cool that they're doing it. I think that's awesome. Obviously, we know the Osidon, but it's actually changing. When they get out of this map, they're actually going to be breedable, and some different versions of them are going to show up as well. The Gloon, which is pretty cool. It's a floating grotesque. It's a gift that carries a terrible curse. The Gloon manipulates a spectrum with terrifying precision. It can warp light to vanish into thin air, or contract its bulbous ocular sacs to unleash laser beams, which is pretty freaking cool. A master of trickery, wiggling its glowing pupils to mesmerize weak opponents, and beware of its spite. A single glob of its billowy spit will drive nearby aberrant and creatures into an uncontrollable, bloodthirsty frenzy, which is pretty freaking cool. I'm hopeful that they can actually use this in PvP. Well, that might be really neat to be able to put like a Giganotosaurus or a Karcha into like that frenzy. Now, Desmodus, we know what the Desmodus are. They come back. They pretty much do the same thing, which is really cool. And then this is a mod, fantastic creature, Cryocephalosaurus. It's literally anatomy meets artillery. It basically gives you the ability to sedate things, or a freezing mist that coats your allies in protective ice. It literally can go into overdrive, igniting hyper metabolic trance that grants it terrifying speed and turns its jaws into instruments of bone-chilling destruction. These are kind of like another glass cannon kind of tame. They're really cool. I'm hoping that the distance is a little bit of thing that's fun. It turns the different elements into ammunition, slurping up snow and water, which is super cool. Now, this is cool. We didn't know we were going to be able to tame this. The Gigadesmodus. This is literally something you can use by raining down red element-infused blood to decimate foes from afar, delivering devastating hail execution to anyone foolish enough to challenge its reign. So that's really cool that we can tame it. It's literally going to be a giant sky mount, which is awesome. Another giant sky mount, I'm not going to try and say it properly, Oraliax, a telekinetic dragon that floats with ease. Basically, it's the yin and the yang. Prove yourself a worthy to its serpentine guardian to hatch it from its staff. I'm not going to try and pronounce this. I'm sorry. There's a lot of big words here. You can literally warp reality to protect, heal, and levitate allies, which is super cool. And then you can also use gravity and death to crush your enemies. There's a lot of neat things that they're adding to this game. Before I continue this next part, which is crazy, this is the biggest update because the things that are changing the meta in this are going to be bonkers. People are going to be pissed. They're going to be like, I can't use this anymore. I can't do this anymore. It just means you have to adapt. And I think that's awesome. Now, next up, thralls. This is crazy. You can see, unlike wild dinos, these intelligent soldiers wield weapons, wear armor, and use personal teleporters to defend their master. That includes you building your own legion by earning their trust in defense outposts, or forcing their submission by raiding their strongholds and attack outposts. Command them in battle, take control of them directly, and you can also use management tasks, harvesting resources, or maintaining your base. Crazy. gargoyles, harvest them at your own peril, so you'll be able to set these stone sentinels, slumber as statues, and disturbing them awakes a relentless monstrosity. Kinda crazy, not sure what that means yet. Neophytes, feral, bat-like abominations, standing as tall as a gigantopithecus. They are like the city's antibodies. They descend from the shadows to purge anything still generating hostility, so kind of like the enforcers were. But do not rely on your army to save you. These monsters possess a mutated hide nearly immune to creature attacks, forcing you to draw on your own weapons and face them blade to claw. So you actually have to face these, and you can't use creatures to kill them, which is super cool. The Revenants, twisted, mindless. This is going to be interesting. So they're the remnants of thralls and dinos that have been infected by the Amundium. They are the horde that you see kind of in the creature trailers and all that stuff. So that's a ton of new creatures, dude. And there is so many new abilities and so many new concepts. There's going to be a lot of errors. So for those of you that are like, oh my God, it's broken at launch, there's going to be a ton of things that are broken. They will fix it over about that in, I'd say, 2 or 3 weeks. So give them some time to figure it out. Now, Command the Legion, the Thrall Mastery. This is crazy. So this is a whole new concept, right? Choose your own path to power. You can literally get these things by defending or attacking them, which is a really neat thing. Just you can see these spheres join your ranks to be leveled up just like any other elite creature. It allows you to enter tactical mode, where your survival with these behaviors. You've got guard mode, you've got logistics mode to organize, and then harvest mode to gather specific resources while you're out exploring, which is crazy. Kind of like they wanted the survivor mate to be, but a lot of small things made it not quite as useful. But we'll see if they fix some of those issues. I'm sure there'll be some problems. And then you can assume direct control of any thrall in your army via a neural link with no limits on its range or duration, basically letting people scout lethal territory or use their own high tier weaponry to turn the tide of any battle. That's going to be crazy. It's going to add a whole bunch to the meta. Pretty sick. Now, specialized combat class. You got heavy natural armor and a signature class weapon. They can't wear survivor armor. They have innate resistance and firepower to make them a force to be reckoned with. So you're going to have like short range. You're going to have long range. You might have tech weapons. There's going to be some crazy thralls. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Just like your tames, they have unique traits that enhance their combat performance and open deeper customization paths for your infantry. This is going to be, you have a bunch of these things listed as your like horde, I guess. It's going to be nuts. Beast riders, you can see thralls are trained for war, not companionship. Order these elite enforcers to seize the reins of your beast, transforming primal creatures into disciplined war machines by cold calculating executioners. I'm hopeful that the AI is decent on this, but this is going to be super cool. And you can take them over too if they're struggling, so that's really neat. And you can see enhancement to your leadership defines their strength. Invest in Beastmaster skill tree. So there's a new skill tree to unlock passive buffs like Husk's Brilliance, Violence, Made, Manifest. Boost the damage and defense of every thrall you command. Tons of new stuff. And I haven't even gotten into the items yet, right? Check this out. I'm not going to list all of these and describe them all, but there's some crazy stuff. Fabricated crossbow, allowing you to have classic modes for standard fire, sniper mode, and shotgun mode for crowd control. Awesome. Tech spear, the ultimate melee range hybrid, allows you can see blink dash, so allowing you to do some MMO style blink dashing, which is super crazy. And then just a ton of stuff. Hollow decoy, to deploy a hologenic clone for your survivor to distract wild creature, and you'll also be able to do it against players as well. Pretty nuts. Bloodforge, new crafting station to repair any item, and then reinforce it beyond its maximum durability for a price paid in blood. Crazy. Don't know what that's going to be. Warbench, don't throw away your low tier loot. Combine in 3 low quality items to forge a single higher tier masterpiece. This is nuts. Super cool, kind of like have the upgrade thing. Medical stand, connect with this versatile station for nearby creatures to auto feed narcotics for simplified taming. Administer stimulants or blood packs to restore vital stats, or drain health to generate new supply. This is nuts. These are insane. Cryo hospital, a tech tier storage unit that passively grants experience points, provides sustenance, heals, and restores consciousness for creatures stored inside cryopods. So if you pick up something that's knocked out, it finally brings them back. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Shoulder pet display stand and companion bed, another update from S+. Basically shows off your little friends, you kind of mount them on the wall in a little display case, which is really cool. And they perform idle animations and watch passerbys. Plant proto-species are a twisted carnivorous biological nightmare native to the frozen wastelands. Its indigenous meat plant sits silent in the gloom. It hides deadly defense mechanism. Harvesting its resources triggers a silent alarm, instantly drawing a swarm of ravenous revenants from the shadows. So those things that have to be attacked by a player, kinda freaking crazy. We saw these in the actual commercial. Cursed weaponry and armor. Remember I was talking about this? Wield the forbidden tools of the Necroscene. These various twisted fabricator and tech tier generated unprecedented. You can customize your weapons basically. 2 equipment traits simultaneously. Further lethality unlocked during the skill tree. However, power demands sacrifice. These corrupted instruments cannot be repaired by standard means, instead regenerating slowly over time or demanding blood tithe at the sinister blood forge. Tech bunker, we know what this is, pretty cool. Is underground in your battleground. Deploy its subterranean structure to expand your base beneath the earth. This is not new, it's just cool. Base templating system, so you can revolutionize your whole base with the hammer and clipboard. I hope they made some major changes to that. They added Arctic armor, traverse the tundra with unhindered agility. You can see light fur set provides the same vital insulation as heavy fur without the crushing weight, which is pretty cool. Look at the Legion, embrace the aesthetic of this. This is literally just like the what it looks like, right? And then renovate your base with a thrall structure tile set and full suite of the themed decor. So that's what the 2 different updates are, the Legion and the Doom. Now you can see campaign, outpost, and skill trees. The endgame with outpost missions. So that's really cool. Repeatable dynamic encounters are more than just battles. They are choices. You can defend your loyalty to the crown, defending outposts. You can attack outposts and go after thrall legions, destroying their command structures, and loot the stockpile. I feel like that's going to be a pretty good one, right? Looting is always better than just defending. Resource caches, secure your survival in the city by claiming valuable supply drops before scavenging hordes of neophytes with wild creatures and overrun them. Lost colony skills, you can see there's more new powerful progression pathways. Wayfarer Beastmaster pathway, allowing you can see this right here, sacrifice your own HAP, frenzy your mount with sacrificial power. That's going to be crazy. Allowing you to like really truly do some glass cannon shenanigans. Utility path, hard to reach places, cold-blooded, pretty cool. March to the throne, your path leads to the Lost King's palace, looming over the city. Conquer dynamic outpost missions and weaken the king's grip on the realm as you dismantle his defenses and secure the sigils of the lieutenants. The gates of the citadel open. But the king is not the only nemesis waiting for you in the dark, so that's just going to be moving towards whatever the boss creature is. You can see the Lost King awaits in his Stygian court, weighing in if you have the strength to survive the darkness. But even though your humanity is but a flicker, fighting against the everlasting cold, you will burn nonetheless. And far across the stars, allies old and new are relying on you. The future of your survival begins here and now in Arab Prime. Step forth and claim it. This, I can't even describe to you how excited I am. That's all the stuff. There is so much stuff. This is going to lead us towards Ark 2 and a bunch of major updates. I'm stoked. Yes, it's going to be incredibly broken for a few, probably 2-3 weeks before it actually fixes a lot of the problems. This is going to change all of Ark. And if there is a time to get involved back with Ark because you haven't played in a while, you should check this out. Yes, it's a little expensive to play this, but it's going to be insane. So anyways, hopefully this video is something that helps you out. But if you don't mind, smack that like button, leave a comment below for that algorithm, and consider subbing to the channel. But anyways, hopefully this video helps you out. And other than that, teach.